It's a hard act to follow. Hard act to follow. So we're all gathered here, everyone enjoying themselves? Yes? Excellent, excellent. That's good because we've got a few things to talk about, Pat. A couple of hours, we should be able to get through this. There's a few people lined up. No, it's all good, good, good. So, young Pat, he's led a fantastic life. And in the words of Jerry Seinfeld, he had 3 principles. And Pat has pretty well met each one of them. So the very first principle from Jerry Seinfeld was pay attention. And the second one was kick ass. And the third one was love a lot. And Pat's done this in spades. And there was that time when we remember great events of our life, like maybe our first kiss, or where you were when Ash Barty won Wimbledon, or even when you met Pat. Anyone there remember when you met Pat? Yep. Well, I met Pat back in 1984, a little town called York. I was posted there as a teacher. Pat was at that stage, with one of his many hats that he's worn, was a furniture restorer, I think it was. And he had a workshop in the middle of town. There was equidistance from the hotel and the church, which on a Sunday was a bit of a dilemma for Pat because he didn't know which one to go to. But I think he actually went to one a little bit too many times on a Sunday, but nevertheless. And the first time I met Pat, I walked into that workshop and it's just that classic. You were wearing a leather. It's my story, Pat. You just sit there and just listen to me, okay? And he's wearing that classic leather top that he had with all resin and all the shitty stuff on it. Anyway, I walked in, and as he still does to this day, as he would have met every single one of you right tonight, would have big smile, hi, how are you? Carpenter's handshake, straight in. And I just thought, what a guy, you know, here I am. Let's see what we can do. And Pat was one of those guys that would just listen to people. He loves a chat. Pat loves a chat, doesn't he? Yeah. Pat loves a chat. Between him and his mother, Margaret, who also lived in York, pretty well knew everything, everyone. And in fact, the actual journalist, Lois Lane, would always go and check for facts before they actually did a newspaper run, just in case they had it right. So, you know, Pat was quite busy checking on all the details. But this skill that he has for listening and being part of people's lives is actually one of his best skills. He's got many. And it's really the reason why you're all here. As his friends and his best friends are in this room. And it's just due to that one skill, that he listens and is interested in people. So Pat pays attention. So Pat pays attention. That's it.
Sometimes.
Now the other thing about Pat, he's an artisan. He's an artisan. I believe he's got the Midas touch. Pretty well, anything he touches turns to gold. And I've always wondered what this is about, Pat. And it's something that I believe that all of us would have a bit of us in it, a bit of that in us. And it's Pat has this purpose in life. And the Japanese call it ikigai. And Pat's found that ikigai in doing something he loves, to solve a problem the world needs solved, being paid for that, equal to the quality that you deliver that solution. And Pat does that every day of his life, whether it was in those early days of doing some furniture for Sven, young Kent, couldn't make it tonight because of COVID, or later on in life when he was doing kitchens for Mr. and Mrs. Peppermint Grove. That was a bit of a laugh, wasn't it, Paddy? Eh? That's the house. Or it might have been installing pizza ovens for Barry Bogan at some times. But, you know, that little outdoor centre that they needed, Pat was there for that as well. And only just recently, Alf Barbagello and the super yachts, there's Pat pouring out the pizzas, you know, a young boy from Fremantle, and he's got the super yachts with young Alf Barbagello, and then there was the bikies, and we could go into that, but we won't. But everything he did was quality, but with quantity. And as Pat always says, less is more. So Pat had this defined, detailed in the way that he would do things. I remember when he finished his apprenticeship, and for the job he needed to fit out the house, put on the architrave, skirtings, fix the doors. Well, Pat put away the power tools, and he did it with hammer, chisel, and saw. And he did that whole thing because he wanted it perfect. I mean, what other idiot would build a house where every cut is either a 60 degree or a 120? I mean, seriously? And there are no architraves because Pat wants that detail. He wants that smick, you know, perfect. So because of that, Pat kicks ass. Pat kicks ass. In the words of Iggy Pop, Pat has a lust for life. And he's that sort of give it a go, have a shot, why not sort of guy. And he's done all sorts of things. He's gone through these phases. There was a phase when he was the connoisseur of Italian gardens, and this used to be this lavender field thing. And then he went through a phase of cricket. So he built himself a cricket pitch down there. And then I think he might have even been the first Airbnb in Fremantle when he did the 3 stables over there and had people coming in and staying in the back. Pat would put his hand to anything. He'd have a shot. And he loved it as he went along. But as Sonia's already said, he's a little bit accident prone at times. And maybe that lust of life has come from this intensity that he wants to learn more and do more before he dies. In fact, Pat's got more lives than the residents of a cat haven. So to start off with, Paddy, when we go away and do things, we'll have like a little memento, maybe a photo, or a little book or something. But Pat, he collects his life in scars. In scars. So I'm not going to take them apart. But there's a scar here as a little boy at the age of 3 when he was given to the doctor at Kellerberrin and they said, oh, he's putting it on. So, but he had a twisted bowel, inches away from death. But we get over that one. And then there's on the back of his brother's motorbike, and then bang, 2 wrists, gone, flying around. But you know, he gets up again and has a crack at it. He's got a scar from that. And then there's a well over here for those people that, you know, he thought he would do that himself, as he does, and he's down the bottom of the well, and then there's all of a sudden a clunk, and there's a 4x3 above his head, you know, a bit of blood and stuff. And there's, you know, the bike accidents, and then there's the motor vehicle accidents. I mean, they just go into pale insignificance, really, I mean, as you do. But there was a time I remember when we were we went on this surfing trip. It was out at Latitude Zero. You know, we went Perth, Bali, Jakarta, aeroplane, boat, zoom in. We're all frothing first day, Saturday afternoon. Can't wait to get there. Pat's crying with delight. And we get to this first surf, and it's called Rangers, and it's a beautiful, just barreling through. But it's just pitching on this reef. There's a big rock in front of you. Oh, no. Pat doesn't need any of that sort of stuff. I mean, why would you need to know any of that, you know? So, you know, most of us are just sort of, you know, quietly paddling, and I'm going, well, Pat, just be aware, rocks and things. Yeah, no worries, mate. Bang, go. Whoa. Anyway, so I thought, he's a big boy. He knows what he's doing. And of course, fourth wave. I'm out there. I look back and going, oh, what have we got going on here? Pat, head. And it's just been pulled back like a banana. There it is. We're in the middle of Indonesia. And the best we had was the cook and the chicken skewer and just threaded him back up. Did Pat continue the surf? No, that was all over Red Rover. He's gone. Done. And then there's, of course, the falling off here, bang, falls off the scaffolding, knee, stuff, another little scar. I mean, this guy's gone to the hospital that many times, they've given him a loyalty card. But another love for life that Pat has is his family. He loves his family very much. And he loves Sonia very much. I mean, who wouldn't in need of the constant ambulance that is required? So let's give it up for Sonia for the hospitals. She's been a real rock with Patrick, and of course there's the three beautiful children that have, there's Isabella and Benoit and Finbar, and we know them as Ella and Ben and Finn. I mean, if you could get the names any shorter, it'd just be one letter, an E, a F and a B. But we'll just stop at that. Now they're travelling along beautifully. They've got some lovely jobs. They're living life, and I dare say that I'd love to live a life in the footsteps of our good friend Patrick. So, does Patrick love a lot? Yes, he does. So, what I'd like you to take away from this little journey that we've just been on, Pat's life, is that two things I'd like you to do. It could be tonight. It could be when things are getting a bit awkward and we've sort of run out of things to say. It could be that you want to wait for the whole night and be one of those last ones here at sort of 2, 3 o'clock. Because I know Pat likes an all-nighter. He's been doing that for a while. Is to see him and have that conversation of when you first met Pat. Remind him of that time that you met him. And that may have only been 2 years ago, it might have been 34 years ago, it might have been 50 years ago. Pat would love that. The other part that Pat would love is a joke or a story, because he loves to smile. Pat is a smiling sort of guy, and he just loves that part about people. What else could I say? Well, I could go through all the things that are wrong with Pat, but that would be a couple of days worth, so can't move into that. And as Graham reminded me tonight, I was going to talk about cars, but cars would take many days of Pat's life in cars, so we're going to leave that as well. But what I would like to finish with is from me to you, and I think I could say safely from everybody in this room that how much we love you, Pat, how much we've enjoyed your company, and that it's because of you that makes us all better people. So thank you very much, Pat Gaffney.
Very good. That was great.
Here, mate. You. Now to follow the next one, and there's only 2 to go. We have now got the young bloke, his name's Benoit, but we call him Ben. Ben's going to have a few words, which is lovely, and then we'll have one than that, or maybe even less than that. We'll see. I'll step in any time, Ben, that's necessary. Okay, Benoit.
Thanks, mate. No worries.